So here's a question I found in the comment section of an old video of mine. How do I get good at drawing? Obviously, this is a very broad question, but if you ask how do I improve at drawing, it becomes applicable to many of us because we might be feeling like we are at a plateau and we're not improving anymore after having practiced for a long time, or we just have that question of like, well, how do I get better first starting out? So in this video, I will walk you through the 4 phases that we all experience when we're trying to get better at something, so you can navigate those 4 phases with more wits about you. And then I will give you some systems and structures you want to have in place so you don't fall off the wagon as you're trying to get to that end phase of the growth process. And I will also share some good exercises for you to plug into your practice system so you can really see and monitor your growth in a way that is satisfying to you. If you're excited for this lesson, give it a thumbs up so other artists like you can find it in the algorithm as well. And if you're serious about finally mastering drawing and really just honoring the love that you have for drawing, you might want to subscribe because that's what I am all about. I'm all about helping people master drawing so they can find their own signature style. I've been teaching artists how to draw and come into their own with drawing for over 12 years now inside of art colleges and in my own studio, Kira Studios. So I would love it if you became part of my community as well. Okay, so let's look into this lesson. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there are 4 main phases anytime we're trying to grow at a certain skill. The unconscious incompetence phase, the conscious incompetence phase, the conscious competence, and the unconscious competence. Phase number 1 is the unconscious incompetence phase, and that's basically when we're starting out and we love what we're doing, but we don't really know how badly we actually suck. After dabbling and starting to pick up a few things here and there, we enter phase number 2, this conscious incompetence phase, and this is when it starts to dawn on us that we kind of suck at this thing that we're trying to master. And if we have the necessary fortitude, this is when we'll dig in and buckle down. We buy books, sign up for classes, get mentors, and do all the things so we can shift finally into phase 3, the conscious competence phase. This is when we are getting better and we can finally direct our outcomes to be decent, but it still takes us an enormous amount of focus, effort, and willpower to get to the decent outcome. If we stick long enough through this phase, though, we'll one day arrive in the unconscious competence phase, number 4, where finally things become intuitive and maybe even effortless. So let's zero in on how we can get from phase 2 to number 3 and 4. Now, the first thing we have to remember that this growth will never be linear. That is a false idea, and it's just going to get us into trouble. It's a little bit more like this, where we have these plateaus and sometimes we go up and down, and then we eventually will reach our final stage. And to get to this final stage, we can't keep doing business as usual. We have to be strategic and set up a system. And so with that, we have to be clear about what is our goal for now. So that means you grab that dreaded calendar and write down your goal, a quantity goal as well as a quality goal. Before you set those goals, check in with your energy. How focused are you feeling? What is your health status? What are your life circumstances like? You want to make sure we set realistic goals that fit into our life, not the other way around, where we're trying to press ourselves into an ideal that's just not attainable for ourselves. So we want to have first a quantity goal. How many times per week and for how long will you be drawing? And you plug that into your schedule right away, and you'll make it a commitment like it's your meeting with your best friend. You would never dare to not show up for them. And then you want to focus on the quality of that goal. What is it that you're going to be studying when you sit down to study? And notice I said study or practice, because we can't just go on autopilot and draw how we always draw if we want to improve. So let's take a look at the different options of drawings you can produce when you're sitting down to practice. There are killing time sketches, technical skill practice, experimentation, exploration, and finished pieces, also known as personal projects. When you're low on energy, killing time sketches are perfect. You just grab your favorite subject matter and you just doodle just to make sure you're spending some time with your sketchbook. The main type of drawing you really want to focus on if you want to see that improvement are technical skill practice drawings. So for those, you can focus on an individual drawing principle and practice that for the session. The important thing is that these drawings are not meant to be finished beautiful products that you proudly display, but they're the equivalent of a push-up or a cardio exercise where you strengthen your drawing muscles or your agility, your eye-hand coordination, and the benefit is in the rewiring that you're doing as you're producing the drawings, not the drawings themselves. It's key that you take away the pressure of needing these drawings to look good. You're going to throw them away. Experimentation and exploration drawings are going to be key anytime you feel like you're in a creative rut and you need to be inspired and you need to change things up, Or if you just want to get deeper into understanding how certain media will work, how certain techniques can be combined, that is when you explore. And again, the pressure is off because you're not creating these drawings to become end results. You're creating these drawings so you understand your medium and your techniques better. So then later, if you ever get to a personal project, you know what techniques to pull from and what to employ. So as you're getting your plan ready, you focus also on establishing what's the quality goal. So here, skill practice, 1 week focus on gesture, week 2 focus on shape, week 3 focus on form, maybe cylinders in particular, and week 4 focus on form, maybe boxes. And then you plug that into your schedule. So you notice I'll do this for a month in advance. And the reason for that is the more it's pre-planned, the less you're likely to not follow through on it, on your quantity goals. Because if it's already planned out for you, all you have to do is sit down and do the work that you already figured out for yourself. If you have to figure that out as you're sitting down, it takes too much energy, and anything that takes a lot of energy is less likely to be followed through by ourselves. And that is not just me saying that, that is actual scientific research that has proven this over and over again. And when you have a month when you're low on energy or you have a bunch of stuff happening in your life, you edit that schedule. You make it less challenging, you make it more reasonable for what your life is currently offering to you. And in a month when you have lots of energy and you want to focus on technical skill practice as well as create a finished piece, you plug that into the schedule as well in a very detailed way. The more detail you have, the more likely you'll follow through on this. So write down what days you work on the idea thumbnails and when will you actually start working on the final piece. And crucially, you want to build in some days when you will assess your progress, whether it's the progress on a final project or whether it's the progress from your skill practice. Pausing to assess your progress is so important because it allows you to see what is starting to go into the right direction and what is still not quite working out. And you need to be realistic about this if you want to target those portions of your skills that still need some help. Now, this is often difficult to do on your own, and this is where having a trusted friend, peer, or mentor comes in really handy. Now, when you pick a mentor, it's crucial that you pick somebody who you respect and who you know has your best interest at heart. Also, they should be aligned in terms of the styles and techniques that you love. What are your goals? Have they achieved the goals that you want to get to, or do they specialize in something different? So you want to be aligned with their expertise perfectly. And of course, you want to find the perfect combination of somebody who is kind and generous and has your best interest at heart, and at the same time is not going to baby you and is going to be very clear about, well, these are your shortcomings. So if you have that perfect combination of the two, it's often a lot easier to take in those more difficult to hear things than if they're delivered in a very strict and uncaring way, or if you're being yelled at. Nobody wants that. That mentor will also hold you accountable for showing back up to class time, for going through those exercises that you might want to avoid if it was just you in your studio. But if you have a mentor waiting for you to deliver a certain assignment, you're more likely to do it, right? And I also recommend that you start building a community around yourself of like-minded artists who also want to improve, artists who are not just content doing things the way they always are doing them. It's very easy to find people who are just happy repeating the thing over and over again that they tend to do. Be a little bit more selective if you want to improve. Look for the kind of crew that is thrilled by experimenting, that is excited about trying the things that they're not good at. Those are the kind of people you want to surround yourself with, because they're going to be the ones who are going to give you the energy to try the things that you're bad at so you can improve at them too. Let's circle back to those technical skill practice exercises you can put into your schedule that I mentioned earlier. And in the top right corner, I will link videos that will help you practice these skills. To create drawings that are full of life and energy, you will want to practice gesture drawing. If you want your drawings to lose that amateurish look, you'll want to start focusing on shapes and proportions. If you no longer want drawings that are just floating things on the page, but you want whole scenes and scenarios, you want to focus on perspective and how to create 3D space. You'll also want to focus on 3D form if you want your drawings to look three-dimensional. If you draw the figure, you'll want to focus on studying anatomy so you have the adequate details for your drawings. If you like the tonal look, put some practice sessions into your calendar where you study light and shadow as well as local values. And of course, if you're all about storytelling and creating scenes that evoke feelings and narrate something, you'll want to learn about composition and practice that with some thumbnails. Now, a word of caution, as you're pursuing your drawing goals, try not to get tunnel vision on attaining that final prize. Yes, we all want to get to a place where we can easily, effortlessly draw, but I invite you to embrace this notion that learning to draw is a journey that is spiral-like. You're revisiting all these subject matters over and over and again, and you're finding little treasures and moments of beauty along the way. Like this, your drawing practice is more sustainable and will be much more joyful as well. And the exciting thing is when you do have the system in place, when you have your schedule, when you have your strategy, when you start doing these exercises and you have somebody checking in on you, whether it's yourself or a mentor, there is going to be growth. Growth will happen faster if you have everything all at once, but even if it's just you doing your very best bit by bit, you are going to see improvement if you follow the strategy. The only way you're not going to see improvement is if you keep doing business as usual and expecting different results. So there you have it. I hope this has given you some great strategies to restructure your own practice routine. And if you're ready for more help, if you want a mentor of your own, and if you connect with the way I present information, look in the description below. There's a link where you can find out about how to work with me. You can watch my masterclass, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.